So in this video, we're going to talk about why most home improvement companies fail in their video marketing and what we do differently. So we've worked with a bunch of different companies over the last 5 or 6 years. We work with everything from general contractors to fence installers, painting contractors, roofers, interior designers, builders, everything in between. And when we first engage these companies, most of them are putting out some form of content, right? So most of them are doing just selfie videos or trying their best to capture progress of their jobs, right? I think the number one misconception that the majority of home service and just service-based businesses in general have is that video has to look and feel extremely cinematic, A, and B, the crux of it has to be showcasing jobs, right? Showcasing the trucks pulling out and pulling in and the guys with the equipment and things like that. That's all very important. That builds up credibility, and that shows that we have experience, we have the equipment, we have the knowledge. All that stuff is very, very important. But it doesn't really allow you to stand out from your competition and differentiate yourself, because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, I'm a video production company, right? We differentiate ourselves by creating trust-based assets, right? We're not just interested in creating ads. We're creating ads that center around credibility and trust-building video assets, okay? That's how we differentiate ourselves. And our story reflects that, okay? If you are, for example, a roofing company, just to take an example, and you are just showcasing drone shots above the houses or above the commercial buildings and showing your guys doing their thing, that's cool, and that makes for good videos. But the problem is, ultimately, it's not really setting you apart, because all roofers perform a very similar task. Just like all video production companies ultimately perform a similar task. We're showing up with a crew with the lights and the sound equipment and the camera gear. We're filming the client doing their thing, and we come back and create awesome videos out of that. But ultimately, the process behind it is one and the same. It looks very similar. So how you differentiate yourself is by humanizing your brand and putting the face of your company first, right? Building a rapport and building a relationship with your clients or your future potential clients by telling your story, talking about transformation stories that your customers have experienced, or showcasing that directly with your customers on camera. Talking about the culture of your business, talking about the history of your business, the why of your business. That's very, very important. Most people understand that you're starting a business to make money, right? But why start this business? Why did you become a roofer? Why did you become an electrician? Why did you start an HVAC company? Why did you become a general contractor? Why are you a designer? Why are you an architect? Why are you a lawyer? Why are you an IT firm? Right? No matter what type of service you offer, there is always going to be a story behind why you began that journey. And that's what really allows you to separate yourself, is that process and that journey and that reason behind why you're doing what you're doing, why you started your business. That allows you to form a pseudo relationship with your clients, because it's like you're sitting down with them and just talking to them on a human level, not about price, not about estimates, not about your equipment, not about the size of your team or how many trucks you have or how many office locations you have. That's all building clout, which is good. That's a separate entity. What you really want to do on the front end is deliver a story that people can interact with and people can relate with and understand the why behind your business. So coming full circle as to why most home service companies fail with video marketing is because they're so concerned with the clout element of it, with looking cool, looking big, looking robust, looking like you're a big operation. And again, there's room for that, and that is important. I'm not negating or disparaging that, but what's most important is telling your story, and that's a very more humble process, right? That's just you and your team or you and your partner sitting down in front of a camera and having a conversation and telling us why you're doing what you're doing. That's how you differentiate yourself. That's how you form a genuine connection with people that don't know you, or the people that do form a stronger connection. I want to talk about a particular client who is no longer a client, not because they were dissatisfied with the video work we did. They were very satisfied, but ultimately they did not see the value in developing their own story, and they felt as if just creating content that looked cool or showed all their trucks and their gear and their guys going out was the key to their success. But they moved away from our approach. We worked with them for about, I think, 9 months, and they moved away from our approach and just started going back to what they were doing, which is basically putting out in my opinion, mediocre content, self-shot by their own guys. So shaky camera, bad audio, that's, on a technical level, not great, but also just not showcasing their why and leaning into all the before and afters and their jobs and time lapses and stuff. And that is stuff that we capture on the job sites for our clients. But again, our main focus is always going to be creating a human connection with your audience, because that's how you're going to build trust and credibility before the sales call. Because if you're just leading with time lapses and drone shots and the guys doing their thing, you're not really separating yourself from your competition, because again, everybody's kind of doing the same thing when on the actual job site. So the way you differentiate yourself is through that story. And now I'm looking at the content that this former client is putting out on a regular basis. It just looks shoddy. It doesn't look professional, and they're losing that professional cinematic edge, but also they're not telling their story. They're just showing, cell phone clips of, guys working on sites. And to me, that's not very compelling, and that's not a way to build a relationship with an audience. What actually moves the needle for home service companies is a little bit of both, right? Again, I'm not leaning totally into the storytelling element of it, but that is how you differentiate yourself. Once you're putting out content on a regular basis that's allowing you to differentiate yourself from your competition, that's essentially performing the same service, now you can get into some of the cooler stuff with the drone shots and the time lapses and before and afters and things like that. Because it is very important to show what a project looked like before you got there and what it looked like after, right? You do want to show that progress, but you don't want the storytelling to fall by the wayside as a result. So again, to come full circle, the reason why contractors don't have faith in the video production process, so the reason why a lot of contractors feel like it's a waste of money, or it's not going to build a business, or it's going to take too long, is because they don't understand that you, need to build up momentum. You're not just going to put out a couple good videos and it's going to revolutionize or transform your business. But if you're doing that on a regular basis, over time, you're going to continually build up momentum. It starts with just friends and family and existing clients, even competitors, raising their eyebrow. Once you start putting out high-grade, professional, cinematic, visual storytelling and strategic content, everyone's going to go, whoa, what are they doing over there? That looks fantastic. Since when did they do that, right? And then little by little, you're going to attract new eyeballs. And those new eyeballs only see the high-quality content. And people associate high-quality videos with a high-quality company. So ultimately, if you do stay the course, you're going to experience not only a better perception, but a better client, a better customer, better qualified sales calls, better estimates, because people take you more seriously. People respect you for humanizing your brand, being vulnerable, showing people you're more than just logos and trucks and free estimates, right? So if you're going to start on a genuine, legitimate content strategy, stay the course, right? Let it sink in. Let it marinate. Let it stew in people's minds, okay? Establish yourselves as experts and stay the course. And little by little, your branding will improve, your perception will improve, your engagement will improve, people will interact better with the brand, they'll respect the brand more, and ultimately, it will yield a better result in your bottom line. More revenue, better qualified sales calls, everything that we really want. So it all comes full circle. A good content strategy helps in every single element of your sales and marketing and advertising. And the last thing I'll say is, I think a lot of home service businesses believe that the awareness element of the sales cycle is the most important. So just run ads and that'll grow the business. Yes, if you run ads with no consideration infrastructure, occasionally you will get some decent leads that'll convert. But the problem is you're not standing out. You're like everybody else. You're like all of your competitors running Facebook ads and Google ads and YouTube ads and things like that. If it's not all centered around a cohesive strategy that builds up momentum and consideration, then they're just jumping on a call blind and you're just like every other option out there. But if you build a rapport and a relationship with them prior, and they can see the before and after and the transformations you've delivered and how much trust you've built with your community, that is going to allow you to have a better sales conversation where they're more bought in on the front end. So remember, it's not just about running ads. Ads comes later. Ads are secondary. The first thing you want to do is build a consideration system that allows people to develop that relationship with you. Once you do have that relationship, then you can have an easier sales conversation because they like you more, they trust you more, they feel like they know you, right? It's like watching a podcast or something. Like, for example, Joe Rogan. If you watch Joe Rogan for years and years and years, you kind of feel like you have a relationship with the guy. You feel like you know the guy, right? Because you spend hours and hours listening to them and getting to know his personality and his thoughts and what's really in his head, right? It's a very similar thing. If you put out consistent content that humanizes your brand, people feel like they know you. They feel like, I like this guy. I like these people. I want to work with them. It's a very similar concept. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. I strongly believe that if you're going to be putting out content as a home service business, you want to begin with your consideration first. You want to build case study stories and brand stories and impact stories around your company, right? Once that's in place, you can run ads to that infrastructure. So you're always building trust, right? And if you're putting out a regular show or regular content, create a drip campaign or filter new prospects, existing clients, possible opportunities to that content system so they continue saying, hey, check out this episode where we talk about this, or check out this case study where we talk about that, right? You're indirectly kind of building up that rapport with them because they are feeling like you're more trustworthy because you're putting yourselves out there, okay? So make sure you're putting out amazing content that not only shows your jobs and how good you are at what you do, but also demonstrates to people that you have a personality and your brand is more than just a logo. People do business with people, not brands. So make sure you are prioritizing the personality of your brand too. It's very, very important. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me for this video. I hope you got some insight out of this and agree that leading with consideration first and then running ads and the traditional advertising methods to a trust-built engine will allow you to have a better, more fruitful conversation with future prospects. So if you like this video, if you like what I was saying here, feel free to like and subscribe. Your support is very appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.